Hi, and thank you for purchasing a set of K-Sport coilovers. Just going to do a quick install guide for VE model Commodores. Okay, like all the late model Commodores, you need to use your factory strut tops for this particular install. The VE has a McPherson strut style front and rear, so you have to use both the front factory strut top and the rear factory strut top. Okay. For today I actually haven't got a front factory strut top to show you how to install it, but again, like the early model ones, you basically need to disassemble your factory strut carefully, use the top and bottom washers from your factory strut top and your factory strut top itself. Fit it to the front of our K-Sport coilover, do it all up nice and snug at the top, and then fit a 10mm spring preload to this. The spring length on the front of a VE is 180mm from top to bottom unloaded, so you would again wind the spring perch up underneath the spring so that you get from top to bottom 170mm. Bring the lock ring up underneath it. Once you've achieved the 170mm, lock the two lock rings together nice and tight, and the ride height's adjusted by the insert screwing in or out of the lower foot assembly. Okay, again, the front of a VE has the sway bar link bracket mounted to it. You need to set these up so that the sway bar isn't under excessive load at all when the vehicle's on the ground, and also it's advised to set these actually pointing at around about 11 o'clock and then locking the Allen key bolt off at the bottom of the bracket. Once the full install is done, very important to check these with it at ride height, complete lock to make sure they're not binding and putting any excessive strain on the sway bar links itself. Okay, the rear of a VE, I've actually got a strut top for the rear of a VE. Again, the spring length is 180mm. We tend to run 10mm spring preload in a sedan and around about the 12 to 14mm spring preload in a wagon. And on the odd occasion we would run 12mm in a sedan if it's got decent horsepower to stop it from squatting too hard in the rear. Okay, so I've removed the factory strut top from the rear of a VE. Note this is the bottom washer. Bottom washer faces the correct way, facing up. Slip that onto our K-Sport coilover. Now, looking at the bottom of this, it is actually shaped to suit the spring, so carefully slip this whole thing up and through so that you can now get the actual spring to locate underneath it. Okay, so swing this all around so that it's located. Make sure that you fit the top washer again correctly the right way. Slip that on, slip your nut on, and do the nut up, of course. Don't over tighten this. They don't have to be monkeyed off with a rattle gun or anything like that. Just nice and snug with either a rattle gun, or you can do it up with a spanner. You just put an Allen key in the top of the strut to stop it from turning. Okay, so once you've got that done up, again, you wind your spring perch up underneath it so that you achieve your 170mm from top to bottom of the spring here. Once you've achieved your 170mm, wind the bottom lock ring up and lock it up with your C-spanners. Again, the ride height's adjusted via the shock insert screwing in or out of the lower foot assembly. Okay, for a VE, they're a reasonably heavy vehicle, so I would set it up, if you wanted 40mm tyre to guard clearance with the vehicle on the ground, I'd set it up with 80mm with the vehicle off the ground. So when you put the vehicle back on the ground, it'll droop to around that 40mm. Okay, the kit includes your dampening and rebound adjusters. Again, a VE, I would turn it all the way to full stiff, which is turning it to clockwise and come off 2 complete turns at a starting point, and then go from there. The kit also will include some of these funny looking black brackets and the rubber grommets. These are used for mounting your brake lines and ABS lines. Okay, this particular bracket will mount to the bottom of the strut itself through one of the bolts, and the actual grommet itself splits, so you slip that over the brake line or the ABS line, slip it into the bracket, bend, twist the bracket, whatever you need to do, so that when the vehicle's at ride height and you go lock to lock, that doesn't have the brake line or ABS line rub against the wheel or anything that's going to damage it. Okay, that's the quick install for a VE. Thank you very much for purchasing K-Sport coilovers.